President orders clampdown on seizing vehicles by leasing firms. All state universities to be reopened on the 22nd of June. A groundbreaking study found early humans living in Sri Lanka 48,000 years ago crafted tools from animal bones to hunt animals. Trial elections held in several parts of the island. Minister Johnston Fernando warns that he is, quote, ready with files, end quote. The unconditional love of a mother put to test.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to your weekend edition of Primetime News on TV1. On your top story tonight, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed the police to refrain from accepting complaints filed by leasing companies over the failure to settle leasing installment payments for a period of 6 months.
The President's media division said the government will strictly monitor as to whether the interim period granted to settle lease installments is given to the customer. The government has introduced a series of concessions to assist groups which have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which had negatively impacted economic activity and day-to-day life of the people. According to a circular issued by the President's Secretary on the 23rd of March, recovery of leasing installments from three-wheeler owners was suspended for 6 months. Under Section 9 of the circular, relief had been granted on recovering installment payments from owners of three-wheelers, trucks, school buses and vans, and also 1.5 million self-employed people. Yesterday, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa had instructed the police not to allow vehicles to be seized on the grounds of failing to settle the installments, as seizing vehicles for not paying the installment is a breach of the government order.
Some have started to destroy forests instead of protecting them. Now, this is a report on a huge timber racket taking place at the Somawathiya National Park.
The officers of the Polonnaruwa Division's Anti-Corruption Unit were informed of this racket during a raid conducted to track down an illicit liquor production. This was how the racketeers cut down a group of kumbuk trees 15 kilometers away from the forest reserve in the village of Migolava, Timbriala. Newsfirst inquired into this matter from the Assistant Director of Forest Conservation Polonnaruwa, WMJS Chandraratna. He said that all factions will be informed about this and immediate action will be taken.
Massive deforestation is not the only issue that continues to destroy the natural resources of Sri Lanka. Large-scale sand mining projects in the Thunmodara area, which were reported by Newsfirst on several occasions, are still underway. Environmentalists point out that the sand mining process, which lacks proper procedure, will cause a huge environmental damage. This is the second time Newsfirst is reporting on this project, which has obtained approval from several state institutions. Approval for this project has been granted by the Maha Valley Development Authority, the Department of Wildlife, the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, and the Department of Forest Conservation. Authorities of the respective state institutions have also visited the site where the project is currently underway. Around 400 tippers and tractors travel approximately 4 kilometers through the Somawathiya Forest Reserve on a daily basis for the transportation of sand. When Newsfirst inquired about this matter from the Minister of Wildlife, this was his response.
I hope to look into this matter further. I will not permit anyone to harm the Somawathiya Forest Reserve.
Despite such claims by the minister, the environmental damage to the precious forest reserve continues to take place. While large-scale sand mining continues to destroy the environment, certain individuals have turned this into a money-making venture. This is the Manampitiya area in Polonnaruwa. Reports suggest that some politicians who were elected as public representatives play the main role in this large-scale racket. This is why officials have been left speechless when drivers of tipper trucks in Manampitiya had requested for their vehicles to be entered in the list of permitted vehicles. This is one such situation.
slogan දැන් දාන්නෙම නෑනේ එකට. කොහොමද දාන්නේ සෝතියි? කවුද කියලා? කවුද මත කියන්නේ? අවුත් එක්කන තියන්න දාන්න කියලා. කොහොමද දාන්නේ?
අපි 6ක් දාලා ඒවට යනවනේ.
ඔය සමිතිය ඉන්න අයත් ඉන්නේ ඉතින් ඒ දවස්වල ඔයාලා සමිතිය වල නැතුව ටෝකන් එකකින් කොහොම හරි පටවගෙන ඉන්න මිනිස්සුන්.
දැන් මේ කියලා තියෙන්නේ රොෂන් මහත්තයා තමයි කියලා දෙන්නේ CEO ට.
ඔය අපි CEO කතා කරලා.
CEO කතා කරලා මහත්තයාට කිව්වනේ.
Meanwhile, the organization to protect the Manampitiya sand mine made a special revelation today.
Maha Valley River.
Large-scale management is not required concerning sand mining that is taking place near the Maha Valley River. Companies and their lorries must be systematically permitted to transport sand. However, what is happening is that politicians intervene and destroy this. Assuming that sand is transported using 250 or 300 lorries, 75 vehicles belonging to them transport sand daily. Some other lorries do not get a chance to transport sand at least once a week. This is the list of lorries sent by Minister S.M. Chandrasena through which sand must be sent. These were the lists of former ministers Ranjit, Vimal Veeravansa and Sarath Manamendra. And this is from the Jayawardhanapura Kota Municipal Council. These lorries came from these places. More than 75 lorries which bear the letters WP on their number plate come here daily. People like Roshan Ranasinghe, who publicly voice against mafias, are the ones who are involved in it. There are plans to fill sand in more than 400 or 500 lorries for brokers on Monday. Therefore, we wish to request the President to deploy intelligence units and to inquire as to whether what we are saying is false. The people there are afraid of talking about it as they might lose their only chance to transport sand. Take the case of a tipper truck driver. They have pawned the jewelries of their wives and lands and are in debt to tire stores. They do not have sufficient money to patch their tires. Does the Maha Valley River exist only to fulfill the needs of the politicians who are in power? When 4 people conflict with one sand mine in the river to resolve their economic problems, will the river remain? What will happen to the environment? The Dibulagala Pradesh Sabha has proposed to lease out this mine with each sand cube expecting to cost 100 rupees. If 700 sand cubes are mined at a cost of 100 rupees each daily, then the Dibulagala Pradesh Sabha should receive around 80,000 rupees as income. However, the Dibulagala Pradesh Sabha had not received that amount. Nearly 800 million rupees should be received as an annual income. Why is this money that can be used for the benefit of the people being sent to the bank accounts of few individuals?
The members of the JVP had been in hiding for 5 years when ransoms worth 10,000 rupees were obtained from lorries transporting sand in Manampitiya. It is these people who are coming out today and conducting media briefings. We wish to clearly state that we have wiped out the rice mafia and the sand mafia in Polonnaruwa and allowed ordinary families to receive benefits.
These were the views expressed by the minister in charge of the sand mining issue.
There is no group of people who are sand racketeers. There are no middlemen. The price of sand has been reduced. Sand costs between 52,000 and 60,000 rupees. Therefore, the price of sand has been regulated. The consumer has been protected and the program is taking place properly. However, the old sand racketeers and middlemen have been affected by this. Therefore, they have provided false evidence about this. If there is a mistake, we will inquire into this.
Issuing a statement, the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau said that the system of issuing sand transportation permits will not be in effect until further notice. The minister in charge has instructed that this regulation would be implemented from the 1st of June. Accordingly, the chairman of the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau has instructed the acting IGP to act in keeping with these directives. During a media briefing in Colombo today, Chairman of the University Grants Commission, Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga said the final year examinations at all universities will commence on the 22nd of this month.
Final year examinations at all universities will commence from the 22nd of this month, while the universities have been empowered to conduct the examinations of all fourth-year students by the 15th of August. The faculties of Arts, Education, Science and Law of the University of Colombo will reopen on the 29th of this month. The education faculty will restart on the 29th. The Faculty of Agriculture of the University of Peradeniya will reopen on the 28th of this month. The University of Jayewardenepura will only reopen to 4th year students in August. However, all exams will conclude by the 15th of August. Until further notice, only one student will be allowed in each room at hostels. The final MBBS medical exam for students will commence from the 15th of June under the first phase of reopening universities. Giving priority to seniority, examinations for students of other faculties will commence from the 22nd of June. The number of students who would be allowed to sit at the exam hall at a time will have to be decided in keeping with health directives.
Students have been encouraged to arrive for the exams from their homes instead of staying at hostels. All students should adhere to the specified health guidelines, including wearing a face mask. Students have been advised to leave the premises of their respective universities by 7 p.m. and also avoid taking part in gatherings until further notice. According to the statement, entertainment activities and sporting events have also been banned due to the pandemic. All administrative officers of the universities have been requested to report to work on Monday, the 15th of June. Minister of Higher Education, Sunil Govardhana, expressed the following views.
Together with the Vice Chancellors and Registrars of all universities and all relevant authorities, we came up with a plan to reopen universities in phases. As per the guidelines of the Health Ministry, one room can only accommodate one student. In certain hostels, for example, a hostel down Muttaya Road, there were only about 10 students in one room. In response to this issue, we have obtained cabinet approval to temporarily use the Ocean View Hotel in Bambalapitiya as a hostel.
Ocean View, Bambalapitiya Hotel.
Trial elections were held in several areas today, adhering to health guidelines. A trial election was held at the St. Sebastian School in Negombo today under the auspices of the chairman of the National Election Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya. Adhering to health guidelines, nearly 200 people, including the District Secretary of Gampaha, Sunil Govardhana, and several other state officials, cast their vote today. Similar trial elections were organized in the Puttalam, Mathale, Polonnaruwa, Hambantota and Mathura districts with the participation of officials of the National Election Commission. The National Election Commission plans to hold 15 trial elections across the island. More trial elections are due to be held tomorrow and on the 20th of this month. Let's take a look at some of the views expressed in the political platforms today.
No one thought that the National Election Commission, where has its independent nature gone due to the conduct of Professor Hool? We saw how they acted. Ultimately, they tried to postpone the election. That was to reconvene Parliament.
We gave the Commission complete powers under the Good Governance government. We have given it the power to be independent. They have those independent powers. The NEC, including Mahinda Deshapriya and Professor Hool, are going to conduct the election in a manner that suits the country and the health situation. That's the right thing to do.
We hope to obtain more than two-thirds majority in Parliament and remove the 19th Amendment to create a good constitution in the country.
We wish to invite the right-thinking people to intervene and protect the 19th Amendment. If that was not there, we would have witnessed the damage that would have been caused amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. The people don't understand this yet. The establishment of the Commission was the amendment that was made in the people's favour in the recent past after J.R. Jayawardena's constitution, which prompted dictatorship. They are seeking a two-third majority to destroy this.
Except for making jokes, the alliance does not have anything to speak on the political platform. They were expecting that Gotabaya Rajapaksa's administration can be toppled due to the coronavirus. However, Sri Lanka has become a country that has received international praise for controlling the pandemic. Members of the National People's Power and the United National Party who love the country are now coming towards us. That shows that we will have a 5/6 majority and not just a 2/3 majority.
The people have gradually moved away from the government due to the work plan that it had implemented over the last 6 months. Therefore, now they are trying to lure our candidates by offering them money. We can observe that the members of the United National Party are also engaging in these acts. They are trying to bring candidates to their side by offering them money.
පැහැදිලිව අපිට දැනෙන දෙයක්. අද මුදල ඒ පැත්තෙන් ලබා දෙනකොට මේ අය ප්‍රේක්ෂකයන් බිලිබා ගැනීමේ ඒ වැඩ කටයුත්තේ ඒකට සහාය ලබා දෙනවා කියන එක පැහැදිලිව පේනවා.
We can only say that they are making jokes. They haven't finished hiring candidates yet. The candidates are gradually leaving their party. Within a few days, a few others will also leave their party. They are making these statements to prevent that from happening. However, that cannot be stopped. They don't stand a chance of finishing third in the election.
The government is under the impression that they still have the support of 6.9 million people. However, that is not the situation on the ground level. State officers are completely tired of this. People are not in a position to purchase rice. Even if they are, they have to purchase them at high rates. Whatever the government said or published through gazettes have not been implemented on the ground level. The situation of the government will be shown clearly on the 5th.
The heat of the election is such that the Samagi Jana Balawegya is attacking the United National Party and vice versa. If we tie them up, put them into a bag and then watch them fight, we will be able to take out their remains.
We are not worried about Sirikota. It is just a building. There is no public mandate there. The party does not secure a top place simply because it has a building, a logo, and for the fact that it has existed for a long time. We can turn it into a museum. It is we who collectively oppose such action by taking a straight decision as we are true UN peers.
At a time when the country as a whole got together to curb the spread of COVID-19, there was much controversy surrounding the incident where a US embassy official entered the country without undergoing a PCR test at the Bandar Nayaka International Airport, disregarding the health measures taken by the people of Sri Lanka. Newsfirst takes a look back.
An individual claiming to be an official of the US embassy arrived in the island on the 4th of June. This employee did not undergo a PCR test at the Bandar Nayaka International Airport. It was later claimed that the diplomatic officer had refused to undergo the PCR test, citing diplomatic immunity as stated in the Vienna Convention. On the contrary, Article 41 of the Vienna Convention says that diplomats must respect the laws and regulations of the receiving state. On the 27th of March, issuing a circular, the Ministry of Foreign Relations informed that all diplomatic officers who enter Sri Lanka are bound to adhere to the health regulations of the country. The Director General of Health Services reaffirmed that everyone should adhere to the health regulations. The matter was subject to widespread criticism by factions in both the ruling party and the opposition. The health sector, the police and the tri-forces are carrying out a yeoman service, putting themselves at risk to save all of us from COVID-19. Amidst all of this, who is this US embassy official who put the entire country at risk? he has challenged the World Health Guidelines. In my view, we should lodge our diplomatic protest against this matter.
We're crossing over for a short commercial break. Stay tuned for more. Welcome back. The COVID-19 outbreak struck a deathly blow to an innocent man. He was a simple man who made ends meet by driving his three-wheeler. Although the central bank announced a 6-month moratorium on all leasing premiums, the chairman of the National Three-Wheeler Drivers Association, Sunil Govardhana, had to pay his dues with his life. His remains were placed at his residence located in Miriswatha, Piliyandala. Sunil Govardhana had to pay the ultimate price when he tried to intervene for a member of his association who fell back on his payments to a leasing company. He was beaten to death near a financial institution in Ambuldenye, Nugegoda. The three-wheeler of a member of his association was seized due to the failure to make the necessary payments. Although Sunil Govardhana raised his voice for the enforcement of the procedure announced by the government time and time again, in the end he met this dreadful fate. Sunil Govardhana was a father of two. Many politicians and representatives of the civil society paid their final respects to the remains of Sunil Govardhana.
At a time when the public transport sector in the country has faced a downfall, the only mode people can travel in are three-wheelers. I think that the leaders of this country had not focused on their problems. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna expresses their deepest sympathies to the family of this victim. We must take steps to remedy this in the future. Vanquishing this leasing terrorism from the country is not a mammoth task for Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who defeated the 30-year-long terrorist in the country. These people must be punished. We need to build a new future. The government must take all necessary measures to curtail this unlimited power given to leasing companies.
The final rites of Sunil Govardhana will be conducted at the Casbah Public Cemetery tomorrow.
The main issue is microfinance. In rural areas, when villagers hear the sound of a motorcycle, they run and hide. People have obtained credit through microfinance and they are unable to repay. Similar to microfinance is leasing and the seizing of assets that follows when the installment is not paid. Sunil Govardhana stood against the leasing mafia. All unregistered financial institutions that charge exorbitant interest should be closed. Meanwhile, the Finance Houses Association of Sri Lanka has condemned the murder of Three-Wheeler Association Chairman Sunil Govardhana. The Finance Houses Association of Sri Lanka is the apex association of 41 registered licensed finance companies of Sri Lanka.
We are very much disturbed of the incident that occurred on the 10th of June 2020. We wish to state that the company involved in the said incident is not a registered finance company registered with Central Bank of Sri Lanka. I wish to state that all the registered finance companies have provided debt moratorium to customers for 2 months, 3 months and 6 months according to the circular issued by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka.
The Colombo Stock Exchange ended firmer this week with both the all-share price index and the more liquid index of the S&P SR20 index ending positive as investors purchased risky assets.
The central bank has printed 1 billion rupees worth money during the week ended on the 12th of June 2020. It has printed 242.57 billion rupees so far. The overnight liquidity in the banking sector has reduced by 21.42 billion rupees to 88.19 billion rupees. Meanwhile, the reserve money decreased compared to the previous week, mainly due to the decrease in currency in circulation and deposits held by the commercial banks with the central bank.
Are the relief measures introduced by the government amidst the COVID-19 outbreak being implemented properly? These were the views expressed in the political arena in this regard.
The governor of the central bank says the number of unregistered financial institutions in the country is uncountable. The central bank does not have the power to monitor such institutes. I urge the government to empower the central bank so that they could address this issue. Legally vest powers in the central bank and its governor. As the government, we must take steps to address the issue faced by three-wheeler drivers and the general public due to the leasing mafia. This matter will be looked into soon. We must not only monitor it, but streamline it as well. The cabinet will discuss this matter and set up a mechanism to address this issue.
Even though the government pledged such measures, no leasing company implemented them. There are about 1 million three-wheel drivers in the country. What will happen if they take to the streets? Relief must be provided to them either through the central bank or state banks. We ask the president, who is hindering the implementation of the measures that were announced by the government. The president has now instructed the IGP to ban the seizing of assets. What will happen to leasing companies then? If the leasing companies attempt to seize vehicles, the people will gang up and start to attack them. Such decisions will cause unnecessary complications in the country. This is how the government plans to escape from this situation. We have learned that several leasing institutions have not implemented the measures as per government instructions. These companies must understand that their survival depends on the economic condition of the general public. They must follow the orders of the government. The president has clearly stated that he will take action against institutions that fail to do so.
The former monitoring MP for the Ministry of External Affairs, Sajin Govardhana, attended a media briefing today.
Nissanka Senadipati made a direct statement claiming that after 2015, a politician from the south had obtained a ransom of 380 million from him. According to Nissanka Senadipati, this politician had promised to help him free himself from legal proceedings. He also claims that at the time he was arrested and imprisoned, he had sent a message to the so-called politician urging him to repay the 380 million. At that point, there was a change in the government and 15 million rupees had been returned.
ආණ්ඩුව මාරු වෙලා ඒකෙන් මිලියන 15ක් ලක්ෂ 150ක් ගෙනත් දුන්නා කියලා. ඉතින් මං හිතන්නේ ඔබතුමාට
I think Nissanka Senadipati has a responsibility to prove his innocence and to inform the public as to who this corrupt politician is. The police must also be informed as well. We urge the IGP to launch an investigation to look into this matter. There is a voice recording as well. So when there is evidence, why is this matter not being taken up?
ඒ සාක්ෂිත් තියනකොට ඔක්කොම තියනකොට ඇයි මේක වසන් කරගෙන ඉන්නේ? නැත්තම් ඔබතුමත් මේ රටේ නීතියක් කඩනවා. ඒක වසන් කරගෙන සිටීමෙන්
The heat of the upcoming election seems to have overtaken the fear of COVID-19 at present. Now, these were some of the views expressed targeting the upcoming parliamentary election.
The country is demanding a clean service. The nation is expecting the leaders of this country to inquire into the well-being of people by associating with them closely. It took us only a few months to prove that the country needed our vision. It didn't even take us a year. On a day like today, if we are in power, what will we do? We will never limit the relief that is granted to the people of 5,000 rupees. We will never sign massive loan agreements to construct highways during these testing times. At this time, we will not spend $400 million to construct a cricket stadium in Homagama. At the same time, we will not spend 890 million rupees for beach-related projects in Colombo and on the Mount Lavinia beach. If we were in power, we will provide a minimum grant of 20,000 rupees for a family of 4. We will also issue funds to employees from the government in order to pay the salary of workers. They imposed a maximum retail price on canned fish and on dal. For how many days was it in effect? What has happened to this controlled price? What is the price of goods in the country? Can the people in this country live in a proper manner? Think about this. We created a camp comprising of defeated people. Instead of deserting our faction, we protected Mahinda Rajapaksa. And today we are in a position of winning the election. Therefore, we don't have a major problem now. Although they spoke like thugs, they bowed down before the rice mafia, the leasing mafia and the bank mafia. Earlier, what did they say? They said that people will be granted relief packages along with free fertilizer, free medicine and also the reduced prices of food items. Are there medicines today? Is it even available to be purchased at hospitals? Did the farmers receive fertilizer on time? No, it did not come on time. Did they supply the required amount? They gave only half of it. They said canned fish will be sold at 100 rupees and dal at 65 rupees. Are these products available?
On to some more local news. Several roofing sheets of the storage facility of the Cantillation Sugar Factory have been stolen. This is how the storage facility of the Cantillation Sugar Factory was seen today. Residents of the area say that the roofing sheets of the Cantillation Sugar Factory have been taken away by a group of people a few days ago. About 500 roofing sheets of the Cantillation Sugar Factory were stolen. We visited the Cantillation Sugar Factory today to inquire into this matter. Newsfirst cameras came across the security checkpoint on the way to the factory.
ආයතනයේ දේපොළක් සෑහෙන්න දැන් එන්ට හොරා කරනවා. ඒ කියන පිටත්තර ඇවිදින් ඒ අයට ඕන විදියට ඇවිල්ලා ඉතින් ඒවා ගලවගෙන දැන් මේ ළඟදී ගලවලා තියෙනවා කියලා ආරංචි මේ සීට්.
Residents question as to why the required attention has not been paid on such incidents where the people's money is wasted. Farmers in several areas of Mathura have been badly affected due to the invasion of locusts across several cultivated fields.
Cultivated fields in the area of Kadduwa and Denipitiya that fall under the Kumburupitiya Divisional Secretariat in Mathura have been invaded by large swarms of locusts. These pests have been spreading rapidly in these fields. The biggest problem that we face is that crops are not growing. If a solution is provided to this problem, then we can cultivate crops with ease.
මේ කුඹුරු මීට වඩා සාර්ථකව අපිට අස්වැන්න නෙලා ගන්න හැකියාව ලැබෙනවා. මේ සේරම පේන්නේ ගොයම වගේ කුඹුරේ.
These seem like crops. However, these aren't crops. The people are deceived by this.
ඔය කියන කවුළු කියන වල් පැලෑටි.
Although we have informed the agriculture officers regarding this, we haven't received at least a single loan yet. Although they said that fertilizer would be distributed, we haven't received that as well. We have only received a small amount of urea. We will have to obtain a fertilizer concession amidst many difficulties.
දවස් ගාණක් ගිහිල්ලා හත්යාදු වෙමින් තමයි අපිට පොර ටික පොණ සාරාධාරය ගන්න ලැබෙන්නේ. අපේ මාත්මයා මේ ජීවත් වෙන්න කොහොමද මේ විදියට අපිට නිසි ප්‍රමිතියෙන් තෙල්ලුව.
How can we live like this? We don't have pesticides. We have not benefited despite cultivating our crops under the rain.
නොබලා මේ ගොවිතම් කිරීමෙන් අපිට කිසිම සාහනයක් නැහැනේ.
Farmers who toiled hard by spending large sums of money with the hope of reaping a good harvest have now been affected. They say that their constant pleas have fallen to deaf ears.
Sri Lanka has emerged as an important region for understanding how our species managed to successfully colonize a wide variety of environments against a backdrop of changing climates and inter-hominin contacts. A groundbreaking study has found early humans living in Sri Lanka some 48,000 years ago crafted tools from animal bones and used them to hunt animals, especially monkeys and squirrels.
The study has found that Sri Lanka holds the earliest evidence of using the bow and arrow technology outside of Africa to date. This groundbreaking study has been published by several international media platforms. An experienced team of researchers, including several Sri Lankans, had carried out the study into the remains of animals that were discovered in the Fahian Lena cave. The details of these findings have been published by the world's leading research journal named Science Advances. This includes the latest details regarding the use of the bow and arrow technology 48,000 years ago in a region outside Africa.
ඉතාමත්ම සාක්ෂි සහිතව
These research prove that early humans have used bows, arrows and other types of equipment to successfully blend in with the surrounding environment, and it shows the methods in which they did so. This research shows how they fished, how they used to hunt and how they used technology to build these weapons.
ඒ වගේ මේවා වැඩි දියුණු කරේ කියන එක මෙම කෘතිය තුල පැහැදිලිවම සඳහන් වෙනවා.
Oshan Vedage, a lecturer at the Department of History and Archaeology at the University of Sri Govardhana, who was a member of the research team, expressed the following views.
පසුගිය 2006 වසරේ සිට 2012 වසර දක්වා අපේ
The results of the prehistoric excavation project at the Pahiyangala conducted by the Department of Archaeology from 2006 to 2012 have come out now. If we consider the weapon usage of the prehistoric humans, we can see that they have often used arrows. There was a huge question as to how these early humans developed the bow and arrow. We were able to scientifically provide an answer to this question after the research.
විද්‍යානුකූල වූ පිළිතුරක් ලබා දෙන්න.
Newsfirst filed a report on the Fahian Lena cave excavation in 2009 and will continue to follow the progress of prehistoric archaeological excavations in Sri Lanka, revealing this island's ancient story.
Former Pakistan cricket captain Shahid Afridi has tested positive for COVID-19.
40-year-old Afridi revealed on Twitter that he had been experiencing severe body ache for a few days and that the test had come out positive. Misbah-ul-Haq, Pakistan chief selector and head coach, sent across his best wishes to his former teammate, suggesting that he had contracted the virus while he was conducting his charitable work. Since the COVID-19 outbreak, Afridi has travelled extensively to remote parts of the country to provide essentials to the underprivileged. Afridi became the third cricketer from Pakistan and the second international after former opener Tawfiq Umar to have contracted the virus.
The love of a mother is unconditional. This story from Wagagedera Galgamua is a perfect example for it. This elephant calf, which is only 1 month old, can be seen wandering beside its mother with the hope of feeling secure from the threats of this world. However, wildlife officers said that the female elephant had been shot by a bullet 2 weeks ago. Veterinary officers in Galgamua, Nikkawarati, visited the area today in order to treat the animal. However, the elephant calf did not move away from its mother. Although wildlife officers assumed that treating the animal would be an easy task, that wasn't the case. The elephant was partially anesthetized and had been injected with antibiotics. Nevertheless, the calf did not move away from its mother throughout the whole process. Upon treating the animal successfully, wildlife officers left the area with the calf standing by, not knowing that its mother was asleep. Wagedera belongs to the Kurunegala district under the Devagiripura Grama Naldari division that is plagued by the human-elephant conflict. The reports prepared by Gammada in collaboration with the University of Peradeniya in 2016, 2017 and 2018 have outlined the problems faced by villagers due to the human-elephant conflict. And that's a wrap of Primetime News. I'm Zeenat Musaf on behalf of the Newsfirst team, and tonight's news interpreter was Tarika Gabriel. We leave you tonight with the Nagitimu Sri Lanka song sung by students of the Kamal Fatima Girls College. Good night and take care. Pata atarin hinagi Nagitimu Sri Lanka. Dia sakasangka badaka atarin Nagitimu Sri Lanka. Hetamaidiyameka vanvahama Nagitimu Sri Lanka. Hitaidi vananavalokaya hamuve Nagitimu Sri Lanka. Nagitimu Sri Lanka. Nagitimu Sri Lanka. Isidanu venasmi sanguna piripunrata Sri Lanka. Meran bhumiya urumaya pagai rakagamu Sri Lanka. Idiriyagena ekvi apasituwon rakagannata Lanka.
දුරුවේ ව්‍යසන අප ඉදිරිය අතිපාදක ජය ගංවා නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා අපි නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා මාතෘකානාද මනිද பண்புகளையே ශ්‍රී லங்கா நாட்டு முற்றிலும் உரிமை தேசத்தை காப்போம் இரு கண்ணாய் must unite and march ahead arise Sri Lankan love නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා අපි නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා
ගම්මැද්ද නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා